What's going on, everybody, and welcome to my show, Tracing the Facts. I'm your host, and I'm the Puerto Rican conservative. Sorry about that. Today, I wanted to discuss an article that was published by the New Yorkers, which basically implied that CUTIES is the target of a right-wing campaign plot to basically undermine Netflix and the owner, who of course is tied to Amazon and the Washington Post. Now, what I wanted to do is give you guys an idea of what CUTIES is about, so that you can draw your own conclusions rather than allowing headlines such as that published by the New Yorker to dictate for you what the facts are and what the facts aren't. The first thing I want to share is a photo. I'm not going to share the video, but I'm going to share just one photo. And I want people who have critical thinking skills to analyze the photo and tell me whether or not you believe that this photo is appropriate for young ladies under the age of 11. Now, this to me is not surprising, being that recently there's been this culture pattern. I don't know if you guys heard, but recently the state of California, a Democrat known as Scott Wiener, proposed and got a bill passed known as Senate Bill 145. And what Senate Bill 145 does is that it lowers the bar of expectation for sexual predators. So before Senate Bill 145 was proposed and passed, anybody that had sex with a minor between the ages of 17 and 13 was required to register in the sex offender registry. Because of the Senate Bill 145, what it championed for was that that just like the heterosexuals who were getting away with it, it lowered the bar of expectation for pedophiles, so it was no longer left up to the discretion of the judge, but instead that neither heterosexual nor pedophile is now mandated to register under the sex offender registry under this new Senate bill. Now, most of you already know this, but Scott Wiener was directly endorsed by Kamala Harris. And as everybody knows, Kamala Harris is running for BP for Joe Biden. Now, this is what I'm basically looking at, is the fact that there is this wave of pedo culture that is slowly but gradually infiltrating the ranks within the United States of America. Recently, Breitbart News released and published an article claiming that the University of North Texas has a course that teaches students about the sexual pleasure of infants. Yes, infants. Not kids, not toddlers, not pre-adolescent teens, infants, newborn infants, or babies between the ages of infantry and daycare age, 3 years old. Now, according to the college, what it's doing is it is highlighting an excerpt from the course's textbook, which is called Our Sexuality. It asks students to go to a local elementary school playground or daycare center to observe sexual interaction between the children. I never knew that there was sexual interaction between infants. I never knew that there was sexual interaction among minors. And if there is, why aren't the schools reporting this? And why instead are students that are studying to become part of the future think tank of not only of America, but of the world? I don't know if you guys know, but recently a woman was allowed to go to speak on behalf of and allowed to go to TEDx to basically refer to pedophilia as an unchangeable sexual orientation. Now, the reason that this should be alarming is because once you describe pedophilia as a sexual orientation, what you are basically claiming is that it can neither be changed nor can it be altered chemically nor through psychological therapy. Now, if you guys remember, these are one of the stepping stones towards normalizing an idea. Back in the days, people who were gay and homosexual were considered to be suffering from something known as gender dysphoria. It was only after psychological think tanks that were LGBT members began to normalize a path towards making homosexuality non-taboo that homosexuality has, because of this normalization, flourished. Now, take into account what we was looking at 20 or 30 years ago and look around and tell me if what you're seeing today, you're seeing 20 or 30 years ago. You're not. America, like the rest of the world, is being ideologically subverted into normalizing things that under organic circumstances we would never had a line to. But because people are being shamed into believing in certain things and out of supporting certain ideas through this, which is called the Pavlovian conditioning method, they have managed to indoctrinate and condition the human into becoming more receptive to degenerate aspects of the human impulse. Recently, I seen this photo caption right here. At first, I thought it was a meme. I said, "Nah, this is impossible." I said, "Let me go," because there's a lot of propaganda out there. There are a lot of groups out there that are anti-LGBT, and they circulate lies all the time. I lie to you not. Today, I went into this group. It's called LGBT News. I went into the group. Matter of fact, you don't even have to be a member of the group because the group is public. So all you have to do is type in LGBT News on your search results, and I guarantee you that by the third or fourth feed in the group, which by the way is followed by 1.2 million people, you will see this post, which if you look at it, the post is posted by the group administrator. It is not posted by a member of the group. It is posted directly by the group administrator. When I shared this with people, members of the LGBT community came into my page and started telling other people that I'm the one that's lying. And all I told people was that if you don't believe me, all you have to do is go to LGBT News. The group is public, so type it into your Facebook search engine. It'll pop up, click on it, and start scrolling down through the feed, and you realize that photo right there was shared by the group administrator, and that group is followed by 1.5 million people who support and champion for and lobby for the LGBT sexual orientation inclusion movement, because that's what it is. They're gonna create so many facets of LGBT, and they're gonna basically what they're doing is that they're slowly but gradually conditioning humans into believing that we have 1001 gender orientation, so that slowly but gradually you won't realize that they start playing word tricks on you. They'll use words such as pansexual, and then they'll tell you, well, what it is that people who feel a certain type of way inside that is different from how they feel outside. So if you feel like you're a 7-year-old or 8-year-old boy and you want to be attracted to a 7 or 8-year-old girl because you feel it, you're a pansexual. You're no longer a pedosexual or a pedophile. You see what I'm saying? So this to me is alarming, because I'm sharing this for the following reason. I'm sharing it because I've noticed that recently everything works in patterns. And if we do not begin to look at things in patterns and realize that the reason this agenda is flourishing so quickly is because of the fact that there are people, literally, I get statistics on my page. When I bring up talks about pedophiles, Even women do not interact and engage these posts, which makes you wonder. What kind of world do we live in when people that are politically involved from both sides of the political are more worried about championing and portraying their parties in a benevolent manner than they are in seeking the truth, regardless of which side of the political it affects. People are more concerned with depicting their party in a brighter note. People are more concerned about depicting the opposing party as a demonic force. But ultimately and conclusively, numbers don't lie. And when you people are more concerned with identity movement mongering, this political party is this, that political party is that, or identity movement mongering, or this party is against this movement, that party is against that movement, or race baiting rhetoric, or this party is racist, or that party champions for blacks. Nobody cares about none of those topics. But you guys are worried about these topics because somehow, some way, today in America, which only after almost, 100 years after the dumbing down of America began through ideological subversion, can you find that people are more attracted to the oversimplification of thought through the generation of memes than they are to sophisticated and relevant information? This is my thought, this is my perspective, and this is my opinion. I want you guys to go ahead and, if you have a couple of minutes, share your thoughts and share your opinion and tell me whether or not you, like I, don't see the pattern that America, like the rest of the world, is headed towards an era of ideological barbarianism.